Welcome to Rauta, and this is Underground Trio episode 74. Already quite a list. This time we'll have 3 different releases from Period to Fire label from Germany, and all of these are black metal, given the label and all. Since always an Underground Trio episodes will go from worst to best according to my own opinion, and feel free to disagree. Let's start with the least favorite of mine. This one is Heraldic Blaze with Blazoned Heraldry, and this was originally a demo release which has now gotten a beautiful digipack release. One could say it's technically a kind of MCD format, but nonetheless here it is. Like said, it's very beautiful packaging in my opinion. Nice cover art, nice inlay and all. There is no booklet, so no lyrics available, whatever reasons. No band members, nothing really here is indicated. Obviously people can use their Googling links, and there are links provided in the description box. So this is very peculiar take of black metal. First of all, when you start spinning the CD, you will first figure out, okay, these guys have surf rock. Yes, I kid you not, among the riffs here there. Then you get a little bit melodic, and then you kind of will find folkier parts. So it's kind of a weird mess of things. I'm not saying it's a bad thing necessarily, but it might be really, I would say in capital letters, an acquired taste kind of a thing. Especially when this comes with a rather crude production that is on the rawer side of thing rather than, clean, nice, powerful, etc. So when you have different kind of styles making the whole thing here, it's gonna take some time to get used to that. Now, I'm not saying I'm exactly a core audience for this kind of a hybrid. I'm saying this goes for people who are looking for something new, something out of ordinary, something beyond the borders of typical black metal. Whether you're not gonna consider this a good one or just weird one, well, that's up to you, of course, and you will get to only figure it out by the time you have listened to it. I must say this is a little bit too much for me personally, but that's just my opinion, and you don't really need to care more than that. Then we have a German band Granitader, der zwischen, der Welten. Once again, nice looking digipack, which is of course my favorite. Usually you already know that, or typical jewel cases, and also no booklet this time, so it's very back to basics, very bare bone release. This is listed on Metal Archives as atmospheric black metal, and I would say partially it is true, but it's also melodic. And there are even some post black metal parts with the music here. Let me put it this way. A lot of this stuff goes mid-tempo areas, but there are fast parts where the band kind of showcases that they have aggression intensity, not just atmospheric parts, which are kind of like antithesis to so-called more aggressive, straightforward and raw sense of violent black metal. And with these faster parts, they're not exactly going for blast beats and such, but they're parts where it just kind of gets a little bit of momentum towards the more intense ones. However, mostly I would say atmospheric black metal is totally fitting description for this kind of band. And there are parts where you just feel it's like German bands kind of a little bit bursum. But then again, the riffs overall are not exactly coming from the same tree. But this would go roughly to the same subgenre of things, whereas opposed to a lot of bands went darker or more raw or just violent type of things. But this goes for the atmospheric part, and even with those post-black metal parts, I would really not say that this is some kind of a black gaze or just post-black to, overall kind of summarize it. Now, when it comes to the production, it's very fitting for this kind of music. On top of the typical black metal raspy vocals, there's a little bit cleaner ones with German. And then even some growler parts, which just feels a little bit misplaced in my opinion. I mean, it's not like they're bad, but you really don't know any kind of a death metallic take on music, which is anyway going to fall into the box known as atmospheric black metal. Now, with these words being said, if you're in the softer side of black metal releases, if you like it more melancholic, more atmospheric and stuff, this is your cup of tea. But if that is not pushing the right buttons, well, this ain't gonna do the trick for you. And then best of the pile comes from Russia, a band that previously did one album also, Meister Leonhardt. This is named after a novel, if I recall correctly. So what it sounds like a little bit atypical name for a black metal band is then described or explained with this take. And this is more like a typical take of second wave black metal, but also something maybe more modern in that sense. But if we just go with the black metal default setting after 90s anyway, not so much older school than that, then you know what to expect. This starts with a dungeons in part, and of that it kind of goes with the rather basic take of black metal. Not the fastest one, not really a mid-tempo one. There's synthesizer parts, raspy vocals, you know it all. Nothing really here is too memorable if you ask me, but that is not stopping this album to be actually quite fascinating. So this is kind of one of those bands and albums which you feel like, okay, there's nothing new exactly happening. It's not gonna challenge the basic foundations of black metal or anything like that, but you end up liking it. Maybe it's something because it's kind of a crude but not weak sounding black metal. Maybe it's those riffs which are somewhat familiar and nothing out of ordinary, but then again don't really sound like it's a copycat band. I'm saying sometimes sticking to the basic things, basic default settings, and having your own twist into it is all that you need to have in order to make a good album. And I think, honestly, this is a good album. It's not exactly my favorite kind of black metal. I'm more into either let's go for raw end or let's go for more violent and intense end. But this is still quite close to what I would like to, prefer listening to. Don't get me wrong. If I got to choose, I would say go for the roar. If you have to go mid-tempo, go fully on that, or more or less. Or then you just go for the intensity of bands like Marduk and the like. But like I said, without those elements in play, I think this is honestly a good album and clearly the best of the pile. Now, obviously, your taste might be very, very different from mine, so take it as you will, and links of all these bands are listed in the description box. So there you can find out more information about the bands, how many albums they have and whatever. Like this one, for example, has 2 albums out and the other ones are debut ones. And of course you get to listen to the music via through Bandcamp site and even some streaming services. So off you go, you figure out which is your favorite and all that stuff. If I got to pick them in the order I prefer, we will start with this one and then go towards this one. But that's my take. You decide what to like, what not. Should you have questions and comments, let me know. And off to enjoy some Purity Through Fire content. Bye bye.